YouTube. How are you doing today? This is the Leisure Tech coming at you with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, also commonly referred to as the Snyder Cut of the Justice League. It's dropping today on March 18th on HBO Max. I'm very much looking forward to this movie. I'm very excited to see it. Something I've been wanting to see since the original Justice League came out in 2017. But what is the Snyder Cut of the Justice League? In order to understand that, we need to go back all the way to the 2013 release of the movie Man of Steel. Back when they began filming, Warner Brothers actually signed Zack Snyder on for 5 films. He was to direct Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, the follow-up to the Justice League movie, and then a 5th movie that was never actually named. Man of Steel came out. It was met with mostly warm reception. A lot of people enjoyed it. Myself, I very much enjoy the Man of Steel movie. I think it's fantastic. There's some concern over the number of people that are hurt during the movie, the collateral damage, and the fact that Superman kills Zod. I will be discussing spoilers for the different movies throughout this discussion, so if you haven't seen Man of Steel yet, I do apologize for spoiling that part of the movie, but it is a movie that is 8 years old, so I think it's fairly safe to say we can discuss spoilers here. After Man of Steel, you move forward, and Batman vs. Superman officially gets announced at Comic-Con. The fandom is going crazy. Everyone is very much looking forward to see what we've all seen in the comics, Batman and Superman fighting it out. And we were definitely going to be getting that in this movie. With the mixed reception that was received for Man of Steel, the movie studio got a little bit more involved with the handling of the theatrical release of Batman vs. Superman. And what was ultimately released in the theaters was a little bit of a disjointed mess. It wasn't very coherent. You go forward about another 6 months, released on home for streaming as well as physical media was Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Edition, which clocked in at 3 hours, but it was 3 hours very well spent because it fleshed out a lot of the story. What Zack Snyder was doing, he was tying 2 iconic comic book stories together into one movie. Warner Brothers wanted to play catch up with Marvel Studios. They wanted to get their characters established and out there and get to the Justice League very quickly, where Marvel had spent several years building up their characters and their separate story arcs very slowly and naturally merging them together with the Avengers. Warner Brothers wanted to push directly into the Justice League, which didn't really give Zack Snyder a lot of room to work with. So we have a bunch of stories coming together in one movie. They jam in Wonder Woman, where she didn't even really need to be in the movie, if we're going to be honest. And then with Batman, they're taking the Dark Knight Returns comic book arc, and then with Superman, they're taking the Doomsday story arc, and they're smashing them together into a single movie, and it did make it a little bit disjointed. And the 3-hour version of that movie was really needed to understand the different intricacies. And some people, even after seeing the 3-hour version of the movie, still didn't appreciate it. Zack Snyder, he's definitely one of those directors where you either like his storytelling style or you don't. He's kind of like Christopher Nolan. He's another visual storyteller, and you can definitely tell when you're watching a Zack Snyder movie versus a Michael Bay movie. You can tell the difference between certain directors. Each director kind of has their key things that they like to do. Zack Snyder is very much known for his slow motion. So Batman vs. Superman was received with very mixed reviews, and the studio was very concerned with the darker tone that was being used by Zack Snyder in telling these stories. Whereas over at Marvel, I mean, they were dealing with some mature adult themes, but they're mostly fairly light-hearted movies until you get to Infinity War and Endgame. Those movies, they're not very dark. Batman is a dark character. Wonder Woman, in the comic books, she's a badass. She smashes some skulls, man. And here, Warner Brothers really wanted her kind of nerfed. And they didn't feel that there was a lot of lightness in these movies. Whenever it got to filming of the Justice League, Zack Snyder was having a lot of fighting with the movie studio over what his original vision was and what he wanted to put out there. He was just having constant battles with the studio. And while filming the Justice League, he had a tragic event happen in his personal life. His daughter died, and he just decided that with all the fighting that was going on, now we didn't know this at the time. We knew that his daughter died, and so he stepped away from the movie, and then they brought in Joss Whedon. And at the time, it was looked as though Zack Snyder handpicked Joss Whedon to come in and finish the movie, and Joss was helping out Zack, and this was going to be, everything was going to be okay, everything was going to be great. And the movie got released, and we find out that Joss Whedon actually did a lot of reshoots for the movie, and they only used only about half of the length of the movie contained Zack Snyder filmed scenes. And as time has gone on, we learned that Zack Snyder didn't just step away because of his daughter's death. That was definitely a big contributing factor, but it was also he didn't have the energy to continue to fight with the studio. He wanted to put his vision out there, but he was having to compromise so much that he just didn't have the energy to continue that fight. So he stepped away, and Warner Brothers brought in Joss Whedon and demanded that Joss Whedon rewrite a lot of the story. And they refilmed a lot of the movies. And if you go out there and look, you can see what has happened. The set, whenever they were doing the reshoots, was not a very good set to be on, from what it sounds like. It wasn't a good working environment. And when the movie came out, you could tell it was a disjointed mess. You could tell there was differences between what Zack Snyder shot and what Joss Whedon shot. And then there's the worst part of all. By the time they were doing some of the reshoots, they had to bring back in Henry Cavill to reshoot some scenes as Superman, but Henry Cavill was busy shooting Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, and he had a mustache. And Paramount would not let Henry Cavill shave his mustache to shoot the reshots for Justice League. So they tried to digitally remove the mustache in post-production during Justice League, and you can just look, it's terrible. So not long after the Justice League was released, you had the fandom really disappointed. The Justice League failed at the box office. It failed with the critics. It failed with the fans. Because of that failure, Warner Brothers really revamped what they were doing going forward for the solo movies for Aquaman and Wonder Woman 1984. And it was pretty much the nail in the coffin. There was not going to be a Justice League 2. Zack Snyder was not going to be making his unannounced fifth title. But word was out that there were rumors that Zack Snyder had actually filmed 90% of what he had originally intended to film for the movie. And that he had at least a rough cut of what his story was. There started to be a bit of a groundswell all the way back to 2017 to release the Snyder Cut. As time went on, you had actors like Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot and even Ben Affleck saying that they had seen Zack Snyder's cut and that it was worth seeing, that the public needed to see it. You had some media outlets outright denying that there's not a cut that exists. You have other media outlets out there saying, yes, there is a cut that exists, and it is really long, but it's a really great cut, and it's worth seeing. There started to be more and more of a groundswell. There were online petitions. There were fans taking out billboards and putting up signs at bus stops to release the Snyder Cut, like actually paying their own personal money to put up these professional signs and billboards. It wasn't just like they were out there taping them to the side of things. Money was actually invested by the fans to push this forward. The louder and louder it got, the more that the studios started to hear. They actually had a plane flying around Warner Brothers Studios with a banner following behind it that said, "Release the Snyder Cut." And then you cut forward to last year, and AT&T buys everyone out. Then it gets announced Zack Snyder is going to be holding, during the COVID pandemic, everyone's sheltering at home. It's announced Zack Snyder is going to be having a watch-along viewing, virtual screening of The Man of Steel. He has a Zoom session. He has a lot of fans watching it with him. And then at the end of the screening, you have a guest show up, and it's Henry Cavill. And they just start talking, and he starts taking questions from the fans that are there. And one fan asks, when are you going to be able to release the Snyder Cut? And then this happens.
I reckon you should show it.
What's that?
I reckon you should show it.
What, you think I should just show it?
Yeah, I think
I
you
mean-
should.
I reckon
Yeah,
it
I
too.
mean,
No disagreement here.
I think that, I mean, I don't have I can't show the movie right now, because it's still a little bit to do. But I mean, there is this. I have this. I don't know if this is helpful. See that?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my
Wow.
god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Is this
Sorry for
stereo?
Very nice.
Get the hell out of here! Oh my god!
So ultimately, what that led to was Warner Brothers, AT&T, giving Zack Snyder $70 million to finish visual effects, do some reshoots to finish some shots, some ADR, and then work on a revamped soundtrack for the film. So a year ago, this was announced, and now a year later, it's getting released. Originally, it was announced it was going to be 4 episodic parts to split up the 4-hour runtime of the movie. But instead, we're getting a single release of a 4-hour movie that is actually broken up into 7 chapters. And overall, the critical reception has been very strong for this movie. They're saying it's just superior to the Joss Whedon version in every way. And whenever you consider that the Joss Whedon version only contained about 40 minutes of what Zack Snyder filmed, and this is now a 4-hour movie, we're going to be getting a lot of content that we haven't seen before. He did some reshoots, so there's not a lot of new content that he has filmed, but there's a lot of new content. We're going to see things in a different way. The overall skeleton of the movie is going to be the same. It's going to be the same plot point throughout the entire film, but we're going to see more things, and we're going to see things play out in a different way. That's pretty much what the Snyder Cut of the Justice League is. I hope that I've kind of summed it up for you, so that way whenever you go into it, you understand what you're going to be watching and why they're re-releasing a movie from 2017. It's because Zack Snyder, this is kind of his redemption. I am very excited to watch the Justice League this evening with my boys. I'm looking forward to it, and I will definitely be posting my review of it. I'm hoping to watch. I'm pretty ambitious with what my goal is for today. I'm hoping to be able to watch the movie, record my review, edit it, and get it uploaded before the end of the night. I'm not sure how successful I'm going to be, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to click that like button, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'll see you tonight.